Hello, everyone. I'm Claudine Ewing.
And I'm Pete Gallivan.
Welcome to commUNITY. This month, we are looking at breast cancer awareness.
And we are celebrating a groundbreaking study being done right now here at Roswell Park that could be a game changer for women of color. Different population bases are affected differently by certain strains of cancer, correct?
Oh yes, certainly. For example, for breast cancer, African American women are more likely to be diagnosed with more aggressive breast cancer.
And why is that?
So there are multiple reasons because cancer is really a complex disease, and it can be caused by both genetics and environmental factors. And we think the causes for racial disparities can also be multifactorial. So it can be due to biology, and could be due to social determinants of health, and could be due to environmental exposure. So we are studying all those factors together in order to get a more complete picture.
Dr. Song Yao is a professor of oncology here at Roswell and a part of a new collaborative study with the University of Rochester to look into whether black and white cancer patients respond differently to a game-changing immunotherapy treatment.
And for African American population, which is we call it a mixed population, that means they have multiple backgrounds of the ancestry, and different geographic regions, the admixture can be different.
The project is the first large national study of diverse patients treated with something called immunocheckpoint inhibitors.
African Americans carry the African genetic background, and those genetic background may be traced back to thousands or even millions of years ago of early human population in Africa, where there is very high density of pathogens.
The thought is to use that ancestry to come up with groundbreaking treatments for a variety of cancers using the body's own immune system to attack the cancer cells.
Over time, somehow their immune cells become more exhausted. So that means those immune cells kind of give up. They cannot do the work to control the tumors anymore. So that's where the immunotherapy comes in, where they can rejuvenate those immune cells so they become more active. And if our hypothesis is right, then if we can use immune checkpoint inhibitors to rejuvenate those immune cells, that may actually work better in African American patients than in white patients.
The trial, known as Direct Cohort, was launched in April and is now working with 600 black patient volunteers and 1,200 white cancer patients of European ancestry to study the differences and come up with a viable treatment plan.
These immune checkpoint inhibitors can be a game changer to actually reduce the gap in mortality, in cancer mortality. We think that will be extremely significant.
I know firsthand, after losing a cousin to breast cancer, that it really impacts the entire family.
We are blessed here in Western New York to have a very special place called Camp Good Days that helps kids that are impacted by cancer. I traveled there recently to find out how they're coping through COVID.
This year, we had a real challenge.
Camp Good Days founder Gary Mervis said that having to keep the camp shuttered last year due to COVID was one of the most difficult things he's had to do since the camp opened in 1979. He vowed to make sure it was open this past summer.
The only thing I said to my staff, I said, I just don't want the camp to sit vacant again. So they came up with the idea to invite families now, and it really turned out to be a blessing.
A blessing because his staff made lemonade out of the lemons that COVID provided. Having to keep the number of kids down, they decided to open up to select families for the very first time. And it gave the campers, their families, and even the staff a whole new perspective on things. How long have you been here?
15 years this year.
And how long did you intend to be here?
A week. I can't.
Amanda Anderson is one of the many people who volunteer to make this place a special place for children impacted by cancer. She says the camp, though, gives back to her much more than she puts in.
Just the very first week that I was here, seeing these young children, some, one didn't have an arm or an eye, or several didn't have hair. And when they got off the bus and they got to just be here and be kids and enjoy each other, it was magical. And I haven't been away from here since.
We ran across Amanda helping out in the dining hall. a place that's special to her for many reasons, not the least of which is this mural on the wall.
Gary wanted something done on this wall, and he wanted whimsical. He wanted a little representation of camp. He wanted fun and children.
Amanda decided to let the kids be the inspiration, one camper in particular.
And I wasn't sure what to use, but on my desk, I have a thank you letter from one of our former campers who initially had breast cancer, ended up with bone cancer, lung cancer, and brain cancer, and lost her battle.
But the words from that very letter live on.
It wasn't that easy to always be strong. The road is hard and it seems so long.
And serve as an inspiration to campers and staffers for years to come. For Gary, this camp is a calling and a legacy of his own daughter. He started the camp in 1979 after his daughter Teddy was diagnosed with cancer and experienced the loneliness and stigma of the disease. He started it so she could have a place to just be a kid. And while she lost her battle decades ago, thousands of children have been helped with their own struggles through this camp. And Gary says being here to see that year in and year out brings him the joy that carries on the spirit of Teddy.
It's tough to describe, you know. Picture's worth 1,000 words, but being there is worth 1,000 pictures.
Coming up, we've all got the bills on our mind. Get to know Stefon Diggs. Ashley Holder goes one-on-one and see how Dawson Knox inspired one family. Stay with us. You're watching Community on Channel 2.
All right, welcome back to Community, and we know the hottest ticket in town right now is the Buffalo Bills, and this is the time that we want to get to know the players one-on-one, and our own Ashley Holder went one-on-one with Stefon Diggs.
To be the best, you got to put up the numbers.
Diggs to the goal line and in for the Buffalo touchdown.
And number 14 has the math on his side. Stefon Diggs, league-leading 127 catches and more than 1,500 yards receiving, broke records during his first year in Buffalo. His sophomore season is here, and it's off to a similar start.
Stefon Diggs, touchdown Buffalo.
We've seen what he can do on any given Sunday, but away from football.
Who is Stefon Diggs?
I'm charismatic, I'm playful, especially with the people that I know and I trust. But if I don't really know you, I'm not gonna really say too much or do too much around you. But as far as like my outgoing personality, I'm fun, I'm laid back, I don't do too much. I'm not really an outgoing person, I'm a homebody. And I like crack a joke.
Well, that's interesting that you say you don't like to go out like that because your style is nice. So you just dress to stay in the house? Because someone has to see it.
Sometimes I be in the house looking nice, you know what I'm saying? Quarantine did that a lot for a lot of people. So for me, only time I really go out is to like get our outfit off. I go to dinner, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe pop out every once in a while. I usually only go out with my siblings, you know, my brothers. So I got enough of them to hang out with. So tell them to take a pic when I'm with them.
A fashionista in his own right. Just check out his Instagram. But behind all the glitz and glam is a man who is down to earth and all about his family. He learned that from his dad, Aaron, who passed away when Steph was only 14 years old.
That was my leader. That was my best friend. So when you have him, you have somewhat of a crutch or somebody to lean on, even if you might not lean on him as much, but you still have him there. So not having him here more so shaped me because, you know, I learned how to stand on my own 10. I learned how to lead my little brothers. I learned how to, you know, kind of like just start being that family man and kind of doing stuff more so looking outside of you and just making decisions for everybody else, not just yourself.
Well, what's the biggest thing that you took away from him that he was able to teach you in those 14 years before you lost him?
Hustle. You just got to work. You know what I'm saying? Everything you want, you got to put in a lot of time. Even when things don't go your way, even when things aren't going good, you know, just continue to grind, continue to push forward because eventually it'll turn the corner.
With his hero gone, Stefon's relationship with his mother, Stephanie, only got stronger.
Well, that's Superman and Superwoman. You know what I'm saying? Losing my dad was definitely pivotal, but she held the fort down. You know, even when my dad was living, she was to me, I guess, from what I think I know, as a primary breadwinner. But she worked 2-3 jobs. She did everything that she could. So she always got my utmost respect and love just because, you know, part of somebody being your mom is one, but her doing everything that she can of her for like 4 or 5 kids, you know, that takes a soldier.
For you, you took over kind of the household as the man. You have a younger brother that also plays for the Dallas Cowboys as well. How have you guys been able to push each other because he looks at you as a father figure?
Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride, even up to like when he made his decision to go to Alabama, you know. As his recent success, you know what I'm saying? It's no surprise to me. My brother is super talented, you know what I'm saying? He's a hell of a kid, and he's growing into the man that he's supposed to be. But for me, it's just a sight to see that, you know, when you lead by example, people do pay attention, even if they don't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? You never know who's watching you. And I always felt like my little brother's eyes was on me, even if I didn't really, you know what I'm saying, really notice him. So for me, it was just more so putting in that time and putting that grind, and, you know, it'll all translate, and he'll see for himself, you know.
Is that because when you guys get out in the field, he has to guard you, and he has to figure out how to make that happen? Is that why he has the success he has?
Yeah, I mean, excuse my language, I don't know, but we have the argument all the time. I've been going against him since he was 12 years old. I mean, even when I'm 5 years apart from him. So he lost a lot of reps back in the day, you know what I'm saying? He ain't losing that many this time around, but...
So are you saying that he's better than you now?
No way. I mean, I'll see him eventually. We talk about it all the time as far as like playing against each other, and I told him I'm going to deep every time.
A sibling rivalry that we can only hope to see on the field someday soon.
The Dallas Cowboys select Trayvon Diggs.
How proud were you of him in that moment when you saw his name get called, his number get called in that moment? It
was amazing just because in that situation, you know, right then and there, of course he wanted to go higher. You know, he wanted to be in the first round. I'm like this. Yeah, you want to be in the first round. I know I wanted it more than him probably just because I felt like he deserved it. But I was like this, you right where you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying, trust it and believe in it, because it's crazy because as of recently, you know, he plays for the Dallas Cowboys. I was like, if you got drafted a little earlier, you could have been playing with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know what I'm saying? Be thankful for your situation if you look back, because it all could have went another way. You know what I'm saying? You're right where you're supposed to be shining, so it's a blessing.
And Stefon feels the same with the Bills. No regrets after making the move from Minnesota to Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm as happy as I could be. In the past, you know, apples and oranges really just because it was a totally different situation. We had a totally different way of running things. Now I feel like I got a new opportunity, clean slate, and I'm gonna just be the same person I was, and it just, you know, it worked out for me.
It's also worked out pretty well for the Bills, securing a star on and off the field.
There's a guy on the team by the name of Dawson Knox. He's very special. Once again, here's Ashley Holder.
It's one of every mother's nightmare, a child born premature and fighting for their life.
I had a little boy who fought harder than anybody I know. Like, he wanted to be here more than any baby out there.
Knox Theroff was born on July 8th at 2:42 a.m. at just 23 weeks, on the cusp of viability at Sisters Hospital. He had grade 3 bilateral brain bleeds, and doctors gave him a 10% chance to live. Knox kept fighting, but over time his condition worsened, and ultimately he was transferred to Oshai Children's Hospital, where there wasn't much doctors could do.
But his heart gave out, it was too much, and they left him on the machine, and they're like, well, what do you want to do? And I remember screaming out, he's been through enough, just take him off, let him go.
Baby Knox took his last breath on September 2nd at 9:43 p.m. A fight that lasted almost 2 months, but a name that will always be close to Maureen's heart.
And I know your son is named after Dawson Knox.
Yes.
And Dawson is actually here and wanted to come and have the chance to meet you guys.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you guys. You doing okay? So sorry to hear about it.
A surprise from mom's favorite Bills player, Dawson Knox, the tight end her son was named after.
Wide open in the end zone.
When I watch you play, I see someone who works so hard. I see someone who never gives up, who is so strong that I wanted a strong name for my son. You're a fighter, and that's what I wanted for him, was somebody could be that too.
Obviously, Knox, for you, that is a name that is a fighter, and you've been through a lot, Dawson, as well. For you, when you heard Maureen's story, why was it important for you to make sure that you met this family and express to her that it was an inspirational story for you?
Seeing the effect that we can have on not just our fans, but anybody watching us, it's so much larger than just football. We can bring joy to people's lives. We can inspire people to, either work harder or just be a better version of themselves. But when I heard of you guys' story, I was just devastated, and I just wanted to be here so I could meet you guys and at least give you a big old sweaty hug or something.
A meeting neither will forget, a chance for the Theroff family to smile once again.
and for Knox to know his biggest fan is thinking of him.
Usually when I score, I point up, give the glory to God, but it'll give me a little extra meaning this week. Hopefully I'll get in the end zone, and when you see me do that...
You will get in the end zone.
So when you see me do that this weekend, you'll know that's what it's for.
Coming up, she may be the wife of an NFL Hall of Fame running back, but Patti Thomas has arrived, the woman behind the ghost.
Well, we know that in this town, the Bills reign supreme, and we're going to keep the Bills theme going.
This time we're talking about the wife of an NFL Hall of Famer, Patti Thomas. She's an artist, and very soon her work is going to be on exhibit in Miami. But first, let's check in with her in Buffalo.
What it's really saying is even when your convictions are rooted in good, that you're going to get kicked in the teeth regardless. Really, I didn't even start painting until a week into March. It was just a thought in February. I was down in West Palm Beach, and a very good friend of mine that lives there, I ended up showing her a couple things, and everybody around the table kind of laughed except her. She's you know, she was an art dealer, she's a gallery owner.
How many pieces have you drawn or put together?
So 60, upwards of 60, but I paint all day, sometimes into the night. We all kind of decided it was best to do it anonymously so we could really gauge what people thought of what I was doing with no exterior factors involved in it.
So nobody knew it was you because you go under the name of?
The Ghost.
The Ghost. Why did you choose The Ghost?
So it was a family decision. We all kind of bounced names around, and I guess for some reason that one just kind of caught us all, and I think it was because I did kind of want to be like an apparition and just kind of sneak in under the radar because I wanted honesty from the art world. This is called Value Me, and people that know me know I've had 2 ACL reconstructions, I have a right hip replacement, I have 4 discs fused in my neck. You'd think I'd played 13 years in the NFL, which I did not.
Oh, in the stands you did.
But this is really about our vulnerability, and it's about when people see you and they see maybe your weaknesses and your vulnerabilities and they judge you based on those things. It's about looking deeper into what a person means to their family and their friends and their community. I use acrylic on canvas, on a heavy paper or mixed media. So a couple different things, and I love marker. I love to use marker on some of the small mixed media. I'm using characters to describe real life situations or people around me. I wanted to do a tribute to the Black men in my life, and and their resiliency, and not just them, but Black men in general, and how they've had to be resilient and overcome. It's just about the rebellious age of rock and roll, and that's really kind of what that one's about. And he's saying, you know, heaven forbid I shake my tail feathers. Thurman is a newfound art critic. I do paint some pieces that are reminiscent of Buffalo Bills. Thurman's handprint is on it. I grabbed an 8x10 of him, and I put it on canvas and painted over it, and collaging is what it is, and I ended up creating a little guy called Squatty. And back in the day, and still a few of Thurman's teammates called him Squatty. That was his nickname because he was short and fast.
And you're already in a gallery.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Being public figures, it was very important to come out anonymously. The director and the curators here, they knew that it weighed on me. Some other people around Buffalo that are in this same business came to me and said, you know, when we curate an exhibit, our name is on that exhibit. And it's a reflection of us and not just your artwork. And if we didn't believe that it was worthy to be there, it wouldn't be there. Still respectful of people that are out there that are grinding and working really hard. This is just a love story, and it's about how as cliche as it sounds, your dreams can be a reality if you make them and you work hard. And this is about attaining like a relationship with someone that you love.
This is you too, right?
It is kind of me, and it's kind of my relationship with my husband or my relationship with my kids and dear friends. It's about working hard at a relationship and making it more than just a dream, making it reality.
Who didn't watch The Voice? Remember Cami Clooney?
What a wicked thing to do, to make me dream of you.
I think back to when you were on The Voice and you were on Team Legend. What did you learn from John Legend to help shape you as this artist that you are in 2021, as opposed to who you were in maybe 2018 or 2019?
Yeah, I think that John really helped me to figure out my style, especially with during my knockout performance. He really helped me like figure out the arrangement for I Put a Spell on You, and it really helped me figure out like what exactly are the best parts of my voice and like what my voice is best suited for. And I feel like my experience on the show really helped me focus in on what kind of music I want to create. So currently I am in a chorus line as Val in the O'Connell & Company production. It's my first musical in 5 years. So the last show that I did was actually a chorus line when I was 16. And I quit theater a year later at the time because I was dealing with some undiagnosed chronic pain, which is, I found out later that I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And so just everything altogether was too much for me and I had to take a break from it for a while. And so during that time, I really delved deep into my own music, which is how I got led onto The Voice. And then, you know, just perfect timing. The show came about and I was like, I just really miss musicals and I would really love to be in one. And so I auditioned and I got Val, and I'm also working on my own original music, and I'm gonna be having a single release pretty soon as well as music video, and I'm super excited.
I put a spell on you because you're mine.
I'm going to be releasing a single within the next month or so, as well as a music video, and then going to be releasing like singles after that, so it's not going to be a full album or EP, it's going to be like one song at a time. The first single is called Old at 20.
What's the significance or meaning of that?
Yeah, so I actually started writing that song when I was in LA last year, so now I'm 21, so it still works, but it's kind of just about, especially in the entertainment industry, kind of feeling almost washed up at a young age because like you're just being compared to everyone younger than you already, and it's just like if you don't, you know, it feels like if you don't accomplish everything that you need to accomplish by like 19, you fail. I'm also working with Grabbits, this producer. He is producing all of my songs for me. I would consider the type of music that I release to be like pop alternative.
Thanks for joining us for another special edition of commUNITY.
Even in the rain, we are here for you and we want to hear your stories. We hope to see you again next month on commUNITY.
We got to get out of here. Sugar melts in the rain.